Hi, good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Thank you for joining us today, and happy Native American Heritage Month. I'm J.C. Farkas. I'm the director here at the Sonoran Center for Excellence in Disabilities. And before we get started, I have a few housekeeping items to go over. Today's session is being recorded, and all recordings and materials will be available on YouTube, and the link will be available soon after this session. If you would like to ask a question, please type your question into the chat box or use the raise hand button if you would like to speak. If you encounter any technical issues, please send a message in the chat to the Sonoran Center for Excellence in Disabilities, who will be monitoring the chat. Live captioning is available, and we are grateful to have Maggie Messer as our captioner today. To access live captions, please click on the live transcript button at the bottom of your screen. We also ask that audience members remain muted unless you are going to speak. On behalf of the Sonoran Center, we respectfully acknowledge the University of Arizona is on the land and territories of Indigenous peoples. Today, Arizona is home to 22 federally recognized tribes, with Tucson being home to the O'odham and the Yaqui. Committed to diversity and inclusion, the university strives to build sustainable relationships with sovereign Native nations and Indigenous communities through education offerings, partnerships, and community service. And so I'm excited today for our Native Center webinar series that we have monthly, that we're honoring both veterans, disabled veterans, as well as in celebration of Veterans Day just this past weekend, as well as Native American Heritage Month. I will say that I've been excited to hear from our speakers today. Both of my parents are Air Force veterans, and my dad actually, after he retired, worked for the VA for a little bit, for a few years here in Tucson, and has also been a recipient of VA services. So I'm so thankful for our two speakers, Juanita White and Ronnie Bradford, here today to talk about Veteran Affairs and some of the services and things that are available to folks in Native communities in particular. So I would like to introduce our speakers. Juanita White is a proud mother of two children, a 12-year-old daughter and 14-year-old son. She's an administrative officer for the 32nd Street Clinic, chair of the Professional Advisory Group for Chaplain Services, and the Minority Veterans Program Coordinator for the Phoenix Veteran Affairs. Ms. White is a humbly proud member of the Tewa and Hopi tribes. She graduated with a bachelor's in psychology from Arizona State University. We won't hold that against her here at the U of A today. She graduated in 2007. And she also has a master's in clinical mental health counseling from Argosy University in 2013. After graduating from ASU, Ms. White began providing behavioral health services, education, and crisis stabilization services to adult women while employed at Native American Connections, former Women's Substance Abuse Treatment Center Guiding Star. While working as a case manager, she desired to be of more service to the Native American population and believed she could do more and return to school to become a counselor. During Ms. White's graduate program, she completed her internship at Calvary Healing Center and was hired after graduation. Later, due to the desire to be of service to the Native American peoples, she became a case manager, and upon gaining her counseling license, a licensed associate counselor, she became a therapist working with adult men and women at Guajike Residential Treatment Center at Gila River Healthcare. Ms. White has over a decade of experience working with addictions and trauma, and doing so, she found a passion for administrative duties and responsibilities. Ms. White later took a break from employment to care for her mother, and in 2018, returned to the workforce. Due to her father being a Navy veteran, she applied to provide services to our veterans and was hired as an advanced medical support assistant for the Phoenix VA. Later, Ms. White became a program support assistant for VISN 22 CEA2, Vision 22 seat, returned to Phoenix VA as a whole health coach and is now an administrative officer chair for the professional advisory group and the Minority Veterans Program Coordinator. Ms. White has been with the VA for 5 years and continues to grow with them. Our other presenter today, who I'll be turning it over to here in just a second, is Ronnie Bradford. He's an Army veteran and has worked for the VA for 17 years, currently with Social Work Services as a supervisory administrative officer, he started his career at the Portland VA and currently is working in Prescott, Arizona for the VA there. He is also the Minority Veteran Program Coordinator based out of the Prescott office. All right, Ronnie, thank you so much, and I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you. I feel like I shortchanged you guys after hearing Juanita's bio. I am the administrative officer for social work. An administrative officer is I have direct oversight over all compliance, policy, procedure, budget. I address all veteran concerns from our Congress, Senate, and I am the resource officer for social work services. My degree is in health administrative services. I'm a member of the executive leadership board. That's what I do here. My role as minority veteran coordinator is focused on outreach, reaching the Native Americans who don't normally come in for services. We have tremendously increased our outreach programs. We attend every stand down, every powwow. We have visited all the PTOCs. PTOCs are the veteran clinics that are on reservations. I have sent the entire executive leadership committee here, the director, associate director, the chief of social work. I have sent them to every PTOC in our area to visit, to evaluate, to propose programs to support and assist. My speech is not going to be very long. Our latest and greatest is a program called the Strong Veterans Act. Was signed into law in December of 2022. We have discovered that one of the major areas that we need to work harder on is our mental health area. In that area, we also are lacking severely in the Native American population, how to meet their needs. So we had the Strong Veteran Act, was signed into law again in December of 2022. And we are culturally trying to, how can I say this? We're trying to appropriately address a culture that is often forgotten, right, especially in the mental health area. So the things that we're doing is are developing a new veterans crisis line. The workforce training will be done and completed by Native professionals. Native clinicians will teach VA personnel the appropriate way to address Native American concerns. We are expanding our mental health care, and we are providing better outreach services to reach our Native Americans. The Strong Veteran Act was directed and dedicated and even created for Native Americans and Alaska Native veterans. It is predominantly geared and set for the Native American population. I'm very excited about that. There will be extensive training. The clinician that will be training us will be Native American, because who would best know the way to handle and to address concerns of Native American veterans than a Native American. So that's our latest action that we're moving forward with. I have setting up training with all the psychologists in our mental health department, as well as some of our social workers. I am responsible for 42 social workers I have in my service line. Um, Direct oversight by me as far as resources and outreach. Um, and that's pretty much all I got, folks. I've been with the VA for a long time, and it has been the most amazing journey that I have ever encountered in my entire life. Um, we are, my focus as a minority veteran program is to touch those individuals, groups, those people who have been left without for so long. So that's what I'm doing here in Northern Arizona. Thank you. And that's it.
Thanks, Ronnie. And we'll turn it over to Juanita, and then we'll open it up for Q&A with the group. Sound good?
Sounds good. Are you ready for me?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Okay. So again, my name is Juanita White. I do come from the Tewa and Hopi tribe. I am born for the people of African descent. So I am here at the Phoenix VA. I work as an administrative officer for our new building. It's 32nd Street in Van Buren. And so I'm more of a facility administrative officer. So I ensure that the building is running properly, and I work with the lesser. So it's a lot going on. And I'm also the chair for the professional advisory group for chaplain services. Phoenix VA will be the first VA in Arizona to have accreditation through the Department of Education to have chaplains come through our program and become certified chaplains. So it's a big accomplishment. We're very proud of that. And also, as collateral, I am the Minority Veterans Program Coordinator. That entails quite a bit. We do a lot here in the Phoenix area. Our catchment is very large. So we try to, well, I say we, because I do have an alternate Minority Veterans Program Coordinator, and that is Ms. Shondine Tracy. Ms. Shondine, she is our rural coordinator. So she really works with the Native populations of the rural area around, including Hill River, Salt River, Auction, to name a few. And we do work well together, and I focus on all minorities. So that includes African American, Pacific Islander, Hispanic, LGBTQ plus, disabilities, individuals with disabilities. So all of them all together. If I forgot one, I'm sorry. I believe there is 7 women. And so we really work together to provide the outreach and the services. So our target, as Mr. Ronnie said, it's really to reach out to those individuals of minority populations and to ensure that they feel comfortable, that they feel heard, understood, and they are aware of all of the benefits that are available to them, right? These are our veterans. All of our veterans earned their benefits. They earned the services, and we want to make sure that they are attaining attaining everything that they worked so hard for. And they provided, their services to us. So we want to make sure that we're providing those services to them, and they're getting all of the benefits that they deserve. And we do have difficulty with some of our populations not feeling comfortable. And as we're talking about the Native American population, and that's the focus now, that's what I would like to focus on here. As a Minority Veterans Program Coordinator, I do focus on all of the groups. Since we are discussing the Native population currently, that's what I will focus on now. So what I did here, it's my tribe. We're taught to be very humble. So to say it out loud, it's a little strange, but it is something that I am proud of. It was an idea, and it was idea that I discussed with Shondine. So here at the Phoenix VA, we have not done anything far as I know, since I've been here, we have not done anything in recognition or celebration of National Native American Heritage Month. So last year, I was like, man, here we are again. We're just taking one picture together. And there was a little group of us. I still have the picture on my phone. And I thought, man, we should do more. You know, there's a lot of rich culture and misunderstandings, and not people not being educated. And there's somebody that thought that we were extinct, and it was a bit heartbreaking. And so I really wanted to do something. I didn't really quite know. And I talked with Shondine about it. And so we started last year. And I told her I'm going to do it. She said, just do it. I said, well, I'm the MVP. I'm not SEPM. And so we said, oh, well, we'll just do it and we'll go from there. And so we started, and I just looked at people's last names on the global address, and I started gathering that. And from there, the group grew, and I finally just let them know, hey, I cannot do this by myself. I need your help. I cannot be the Native American SEPA manager because I cannot have two collateral duties at the same time. I can only have one, and I'm already the Minority Veterans Program Coordinator. So I need somebody to step up. And so one of our members stepped up, and she became the Native American SEPA manager. And so I started passing everything on to her. And now our group has really come together, and we did a celebration. We are in celebration of National Native American Heritage Month. So we were able to have an opening ceremony, and we have had 2 events every week since November 1st. So our director and our deputy director are extremely supportive of what we are doing. And Miss Shondine, she put together it's a little networking day. So we are going to host a networking day here, and that is to really allow for collaboration and resource building for our providers here at the Phoenix VA to partner and gain those relationships and resources with our tribal entities. That's including Native American Connections, Native Health, Gila River, IHS. So those representatives will be coming here to 32nd Street to provide presentations and to provide their information to the providers here, because there is a disconnect, and the disconnect has been reported by our Native veterans that they do not feel welcome, they do not feel understood. They feel uncomfortable when coming. Things sometimes may go a little bit too fast. There's an array of situations and issues that they do have, and we want to make sure that they're utilizing the VA services here, especially with the exemption that they just passed. There are a lot that said that they still prefer to use IHS, or they prefer to use the Indian Health Service, tribal services. So there is a difference between IHS and tribal services. So there's like Hill River Healthcare, they are not under IHS, they're under a different billet. So there is a difference. So some prefer to either use IHS or the tribal. But we really would like them to come and use the Veteran Affairs health services. So that is our goal. And so that is what we do. We do outreach, but I'm really proud of the SEPM group. And I mentioned the SEPM group in addition because Minority Veterans Program is under EEO. So I work with the SEPM groups. So that's what we're doing now, is we're really bridging that gap to work with each other. Because again, My end is the veterans, and the SEPM, that's for employees. But there are a lot of our employees that are veterans as well. So they really coincide with each other, and our goals are the same, right? It's a little bit different in that the SEPM groups, their target audience is recruitment and employees. My target audience is the veterans. However, I'm able to bridge that gap. If there's a veteran that's in need and they're kind of having difficulty trying to attain employment, I can work with the SEPM group, because the SEPM, they're wanting recruitment for that particular area of their focus. So really working together, that's a beautiful part of being a part of the Minority Veterans Program. We really learn the departments and learn how the system works and operates, and who to have for points of contact. It's very important to have a good relationship with your director. We do reports, monthly reports. We have to report to our director because he has to sign off on it, and then it goes to the national level. So the MVP national level, it goes there as well, and they document all of this. They also provide us with education each month, so we have to be on calls each month, and they take attendance. So you have to make sure that you are there. But they have a lot of valuable information and what's new, what's changing in the VA, what we have to offer, how to better improve our outreach. So we have a lot of support. And if anybody is interested later on, because I'm not sure, you never know what the future will hold. If you are interested in it, you really have to look at yourself and really ensure that you're able to manage both. Because for here at the Phoenix VA, it is a collateral. So first priority is the job that I was hired for as an administrative officer, and then the MVPC, that's 20% of my time. So you have to really be able to balance it out. And there are some times when you do not just outreach, but you also do case management work. So it's one-on-one. And sometimes you have some difficulties, because I also work with the family members of our veterans, because we have to keep in mind some of our veterans are not able to communicate because there may be something physically wrong that they're dealing with. We did have a veteran that was here that didn't have the ability to speak. So the family members spoke for them. So you also work with the family members as well. And so sometimes just different personalities can be difficult, and they're frustrated. So you're also an advocate as an MVPC. You're an advocate for our veterans. So there's a lot that goes into it. And I'm trying to think of what else I can share with you. Working with the Native population it's very, not just humbling, but it's very soothing. And I am proud to be able to do that and to provide the services and the skills that I do have to not just the veteran population, but also to our Native population. It's really special for myself as I am a tribal member. And again, we do have the support of our director and our deputy director, and we do meet regularly, and he would like to know what I need and what our target is. So that's something as well. So for me, I have to report not just to the director, but to the governing council for all of Phoenix VA. So the governing council is all of the major individuals who are in leadership, our executive team, where they make all the decisions. They want to know the numbers. So they want to know how many outreach events we have accomplished, how many hours. So for MVP, it consists of VHA, VBA, and the National Cemetery. So for the National Cemetery, they need 20, I believe it's 20 to 30 hours of outreach. And VBA and VHA, they're required 40 to 60 hours of outreach. And so this past quarter, fourth quarter, we attained 123 hours of outreach. And that is really working together. So I send out a request for all of the information to the various departments who their target audience is our minority veterans. And so that's collective together. So it's very important to ensure that you're working together as a team. You get more accomplished as a team. And then I'm also informing the departments in those areas. I'm not here to take over a program. I'm here to ensure that our veterans are aware of the programs. So I'm really speaking for our departments and the programs that are up and coming and the programs that we do have for our veterans. So that is a big part of what I do. So I really reiterate to our departments that I'm not taking over. I'm assisting and informing our veterans of what is available to them. So that's what we have here. And again, for us, it's our moving forward. Also, they also want an action plan, kind of all over the place, but governing council, they also want an action plan. What is your action for the next quarter? What's your goal for the next quarter? What can we do to support you for your next quarter? And so that's where I am now. So right now, our goal is to really work together closely with the CEPM. And that's what we're doing now. So we're moving forward in our action plan. So the CEPM groups have really stepped up and moved forward. We work well together. We meet. I'm on their meetings as well, and I'm also present for their events. And they are present for my events that I host, and just really working together in collaboration because we all fall under EEO. So that's a positive thing for us. And additionally, right now we're getting ready to close up National Native American Heritage Month. So we're looking at the 20th, we're having Apache Crown dancers come to the facility here, and they're going to perform. They're from White Mountain. And we also are going to have a drum group. We're looking at cultural competency, right? That's something that we're also looking at, because some people they take the courses and they talk about transgenerational trauma and what that is and what it means. But what I'm finding is individuals, they can say that I took a class, but then my next question is, what are you doing? What's your part to help the healing process? Because having knowledge and then doing something with the knowledge are two different things. So I really ask the question, what are you doing to help in the healing process? Because it is a lot. So we're going to have a guest speaker for that, and then we'll be closing out our ceremony, our celebration of National Native American Heritage Month on 11/30. So November 30th, we'll be having our closing ceremony. And again, our director will come and perform the closing remarks for that. And we're also scheduled to have a Hopi dance group, and then also a fry bread truck. So there's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of acknowledgement and understanding of what has been lacking. And now we're working towards an action of how we can improve. So we're always improving. And that's the positive part of the everything that's being done nationwide with the VA, from what I see, especially with Phoenix, as people know, Phoenix hasn't always been highlighted in the greatest regard historically from what happened in the past. But now we're moving forward, and there are a lot of veterans that we hear, and they're talking about the improvements and how we are doing better. And that is our goal, is to get better and be better moving forward. So that's all that I have. So I'm very open to questions.
Well, Juanita, I'm wondering if you could share a little bit about some of the programs you were kind of referring to that are available for disabled veterans, and if there's any Native specific kind of programming happening through your location that you can share with folks.
Absolutely. So some of you may know, it's kind of funny. Dino and I have come full circle. When I first started my very first job with Guiding Star, that is where I met Dino. Dino was a social worker for IR, which is a part of Native Connections. And then boom, we popped into each other here at the VA, and he's a social worker here at the VA. So he has a group, he's a social worker, and then he also has 2 groups, and those groups are specific to our Native veterans. So that is available. The gentleman, it's really, really amazing. The gentleman that is a part of the drum group that came for us, he shared what the VA did for him, and he shared going to Dino's groups, and that his drum is a sober drum. So that was everybody was touched to hear that. So he does have that, and him and Shondine, actually they're working together, and they were working very closely with our former director. And what they're working on right now is for SWET to be a part of our Native veterans treatment plan. So it's part of their actual treatment plan. It's in their record, and it's acknowledged and seen as medical treatment. That is closed, and it will be for our Native veterans only. And so they're looking to set that up, and they're looking more and more into Native healing practices, because what happens is there's a lot of our Native veterans that can't go home because it's far. Like, for instance, my tribe, it's like 4 hours away. So it's difficult to make that drive every day, every weekend, especially with gas prices. So they're looking at setting it up to where our healers from home can come here to help our veterans that are here in the urban area. So that's another program that's up and coming, and they're getting that together. But right now, Dino, he has his groups that are working, they're working now, that are up and running and active now. So we have that, and there's a lot of like for women, it's really cool. They have drive-through baby showers. So they participate in the drive-through baby showers. They provide education with car seats and how to properly install car seats. They provide information about breastfeeding, difficulty with breastfeeding, ensuring check-ins for postpartum. We have peer support groups also here as well. So there's peer support groups, and then we have women's groups that are here as well, that are part of the peer peer support. It's run by peer support, so it's veterans who have been in similar situations. They are the facilitators of those groups, so that's available. Trying to think of, there's quite a few in each department, and I'm trying to think of what else. But for our Native population, it's growing, so it's really It's taking a bit of time, as many may know, when you're talking about the native population, it's a slower process, and it's a slower process because of the trust, right? It's a lot to build that trust, and there's a lot of history behind the lack of trust with government, and it's a slowly moving process, but you just have to keep at it little by little. It's little by little, and that was the same thing with Dino's group. Little by little, it has grown, and he does blessings as well. So some of our veterans will come, and it's just to get blessed, and then they stay to talk and to really work out what's going on with them and open up a little bit more each time, and building that camaraderie and really it really comes down to trust. That's a huge piece of it. So again, with the native population, with our native veterans, it's a slow process, and programs are coming little by little, because we want to make sure that we're doing it correctly and we're doing it right, especially if we're talking about tradition, because there's a lot that goes into tradition. It's not just oh, just bring them down here. They have to be able to cleanse themselves and do what they need to do for themselves before they come down. And it's different. It's kind of a little bit difficult to explain. It's very different to do ceremonies away from home, because of the atmosphere, the process, um, the steps that are taken, where people go to gather what they need. It's very different than uh, being in the city. That's the only way that I can explain it. But there's a lot of pieces that go into it, and there's some pieces that, honestly, like for my tribe, I won't ever know, because I'm not male, and there's certain things that belong to the men and certain things that belong to the women, and that's just the way that it's always been in my tribe. Um, so there's it's the same thing. There's certain things that only that medicine man's gonna know that they need to do, and those kinds of things we can't rush. They're not rushed. So again, it's a process. So it's little by little.
Thank you, Anita. And Ronnie, I know you have some additional insights you'd like to add.
I think listening to Juanita has really just jogged some things, and I concur with Juanita. I don't have the restrictions. When we talk about collateral, Minority Veteran Program Coordinator is what's considered collateral duty, meaning it's additional duties to your normal daily duties. And a lot of times it is difficult to juggle the two. Here in Northern Arizona, I am in a very unique opportunity to be able to perform my collateral duty to coincide with my daily duties. I work for social work. Um, and the trust, yeah, there is no trust when it comes to the federal government and Native American population. It's just, it's history has dictated that. And Indian Health Services were all they had, you know, and resources were minimal. And I too am trying to break that cycle. I'm starting to break the cycle by training to several areas of social work services. Like we have coordinators in the homeless team, in the caregiver support team, in the contract nursing home team, intimate partner violence program coordinator. Those five four individuals, will be some of the first to take the training um, on how to treat and address the Native Americans. We don't know about the cleansing. We don't know about the traditions like we should. And I think my plan, well, don't think, my plan is to arm employees first before we reach out to the tribal councils and try to work on building that relationship. Yeah, we should do more. we should do more outreach. For every Native American veteran, there's a Native American caregiver. They need to be addressed and not forgotten as well. And the other thing that I'm doing is I'm recruiting. I'm also, as an administrative officer, we do a lot of recruiting of employees for this station. And I'm going to powwows and we're going to stand downs. I'm going with recruiting in mind. I have someone on staff who are representing the minority veteran program on my behalf in those times. I think it helps us tremendously if you come to the VA and you see someone like you there to receive you, who can help and guide you. So recruitment, um, preparing staff, training staff um, is key. And then we want to go out and build a relationship. We want to give them alternatives. I had the leadership team when they went out to these tribal clinics. They discovered that they had no cell towers. They couldn't use their cell phones. They had limited cell reception. And they said, well, Randy, how we don't want to go to these outskirts of these areas without being able to communicate. So I bought satellite phones. So there's no excuse. Um, I have also spoken with T-Mobile, and we're going to find out why there are no cell towers and how can the federal government find funding to put cell towers. The plan is huge, and there's a lot. It's a whole lot. But the good news is that there is a plan. There is funding for this plan. There is a signed into law bill to support these things. Um, I think it's just the time it takes to build staff education in this area and then do the outreaching to the Native American community and let's bring them into the fold. They so deserve it. So that was the additional things I want to bring to the table because, yeah, this is an important step. This is huge.
Thank you. So we'll open up for questions, and there's already one in the chat. If some of the programs that you all have both mentioned, to share the names of them so that they can pass it on to others who might be able to use those services and programs.
Well, at any local VA, social work services, just reach out to social work services at the Northern Arizona VA, that is. Reach out to social work services. You can first reach out to me. I'll put my email here and my contact phone numbers here, and I can put you in contact with whatever you need.
Yeah, I can do the same as well. I'm available, and if it would help, I can provide some of the flyers to you, and you can share them. That's something else that I'm doing is collecting, because I mean, there's tons and tons of handouts that people provide. It's all over. If you come over to the facility, we're trying to clean it up a bit so it's not too jumbled, but the groups and the service lines, they have their flyers and their handouts all over. Happy to share. So whatever, whatever ones I have, I can gather them and I can provide them to you, and then I can also provide more of those POCs for those departments as well.
That would be great. Thank you. And we can share that in our email message that goes out to all of those who are attending here today.
Please do.
Some of those the program information and flyers. That'd be fantastic. Thank you. Do we have other questions or comments from the audience? We have some thanks in the comments, and it'd be great to send the flyers. Yes, a copy of the recording that it will be archived on our YouTube channel, the recording. All of the sessions in our Native Center for Disabilities webinar series are all located there. So it'll be like a couple weeks before it's available, but the recording link will get sent out in an email to all those who attended, and you can find it through our YouTube channel and our website.
And if it's okay, I'll send also, I'd like to just share a picture. Um, I don't know if I can put it in the chat or, but
Yeah.
it's really, here, let me see if I can do it. It's just, it was really exciting. Um, because this was the first, this was the first that we ever, since I've been here, we did anything for National Native American Heritage Month, and the support was great. The support was just outstanding from that's our director in the center and our deputy director, and then our guest speaker was Miss Indian Arizona, first attendant. So it's really up and coming and growing and more awareness. So it's an exciting time.
Thank you. Let's see, what else do we have in the chat? A request, Ronnie, if you could also provide your email, in addition to your number, would be great.
Number is there, email as we speak.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have any questions for us?
I don't.
Well, is there anything specific to disabled veterans you'd like to mention as well to the group?
Well, you know, it's for us here, it's one-stop shopping. Any one of my social workers can, and they can and will refer, obtain anything that's needed. We have done it all. Next to our homeless team has housed, oh my goodness, too many veterans to count. We have several programs here for transitional veterans, veterans who have chemical dependency issues. We can give them a safe place to be, um, job training, education, resume building, to give them a fresh start. Yes, the the resources are endless. It's just unfortunate that because of that distrust and the Indian health that has always been the go-to, that VA is just now gearing up to address the Native American population. It's over the last 3 years, it's gotten better. I've been around since 2006, 7, and over the last 3 years, you can see the VA moving toward a positive for not just Native Americans, but for all minorities. Um, yeah, it's definitely needed, and the resources are there. Again, you know, just if anyone wants to call, just call the main hospital number. It's on there, 0, and just ask for social work services, and it will come to me or one of my program support assistants, and we'll get them taken care of.
So we have a whole department,
Yeah.
which is it's fantastic. It's fantastic, and I'm really excited about that. I was able see it's kind of funny how things work, but because I'm over, you know, the building AO, there was a question that was asked about, hey, you know, has anybody ever thought about, you know, our veterans that are visually impaired, right? Because we have elevators here. How do they know which floor to get off of? I wouldn't have thought of that. I'm like, oh man, you know. So the department came and they did a walkthrough, and we have a in one of our employees. He's so nice. He is visually impaired, so he did the walkthrough, and he gave us, you know, his and his take on it, his recommendations. So he provided his recommendations. He asked us the questions that came to mind, and it was extremely helpful because he asked questions I wouldn't have ever thought to ask, and he provided us with that, you know, that insight to make the facility better. And then it, you know, and then it went into individuals with you know, other various disabilities. For instance, they're talking about having a daycare built here, and then you know, having such insight provided by one of our employees with a disability, the question was asked, what about our veterans that do have a disability and they have a service animal and they need they have to go to radiology. So then you start asking those questions. So now they're looking at trying to get a doggy sitter, right? So we have sitters for our veterans children. What about our veterans who are in situations where they need to have their service animal with them and they can't take them back to get an x-ray done or for MRI? Are we going to cancel their appointment because there's nobody to take care of their service animal? So then that was taken into consideration as well. So we're looking at that in addition to provide that service for the location. And so our department now, well, I'm able now to work closely with the department and how we can improve. So I just made that connection with the department. So it's an exciting time. And they just had the White Cane event here, which was amazing. And they provide more education and more information about their program and what they have to offer and how they can help. And again, it's a part of the SEPM group, right? So that's a group that falls under a special emphasis program for employees. And then again, our employees, they tend to be veterans. So it's an amazing combination. And in all honesty, I just stepped into this position, this role as MVPC. I haven't even been in a year yet. It's not even a year. So all of this is really a learning experience and making those connections. So I'm glad that you asked that question, because now we have a whole department whose focus is for our veterans with disabilities, and that they also work with the various departments like prosthetics and X-ray, like all over. It's really growing. That's what there's so many, as Ronnie said, there's so many programs. It's growing more and more rapidly, and it's really great. Right now, that's where I'm at, is really collaborating and making all the connections and gathering all the programs so that our veterans know the programs that are available to them. And there's some programs that I'm learning about as well. And I just continue to piece that and put it together.
I think what we want to look at is, I'll say this, the bigger picture is this. The federal government is actually acknowledging that there's a need. Social work services for this VA is only 3 years old. Social workers used to be housed under psychologists. Someone discovered that psychologists don't have the necessary skills for the outreach aspect, the compassion aspect. So they recruited my chief from Long Beach, and they recruited me from another department. I am the first MVPC they've had on this station. I am the first administrative officer in social work. My chief is the first because they saw the need was so great that they developed a whole department around outreach and reaching minorities. So that's the great news. And it's my responsibility and my social work department's responsibility to reach out to all the veterans who don't know about us or know about all the multiple resources that are available to them. They've earned it. They've deserved it. And it's our job to make sure they know about it and make sure they have it.
I just want to echo what's in the chat, that we appreciate what you all are doing and thank you for your time and expertise today. I want to also thank the Arizona Developmental Disabilities Planning Council. Through their support, we're able to put on this webinar series. And I think we'll be putting in the chat here in a second a link for our evaluation to give feedback on today's talk. And I just want to thank you all and for any of our veterans who are on and joining with us today, thank you for your service. And, we look forward to seeing you all at our next session, which is going to be an extended 2-hour event, I believe, because we'll be doing film screenings of Jim Warren's 2 films and a great discussion in December. And so we'll be sharing that information as well with everyone as we get closer. So I just want to thank both of you for your time today and joining us, Juanita and Ronnie, and wish you all a good rest of your week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's an honor.